So, are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yep. Alright. 3, 2.
Got it.
Yeah.
Doctor Who's an old show with a pretty epic history, so if you're lost or intimidated, it's understandable.
We're here to give you a Geek Crash Course on Doctor Who in general and a little more specific need to know what you need for the upcoming premiere. I'm Michael Nixon.
And I'm Diana DeKylo, and this is Geek Crash Course.
Never called Doctor Who, our hero, the Doctor, is a time-traveling alien with 2 hearts. He's a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey.
At last count, he was somewhere upwards of 900 years old, and if he sustains some kind of grievous injury, he can regenerate, which is great for living a long time or replacing a lead actor. The Doctor is the last of the Time Lords after the last Great Time War. He was forced to kill all of his people and all of the aliens fighting them to save the universe.
We don't know much about it. It's kind of shrouded in secrecy, and the Doctor doesn't talk much about it. But, thankfully, the 11th Doctor seems to be over his survivor's guilt. Which, is good. They're gonna go and have adventures and have fun.
Not cry and be depressed.
Crying is sad.
The sonic screwdriver is the Doctor's all-purpose device. It scans things, it fixes things, it opens doors, and it generally does whatever the plot needs it to do.
The Doctor travels in an alien machine called the TARDIS. Bigger on the inside than on the outside, the TARDIS is permanently disguised due to a faulty chameleon circuit as a police box. TARDIS stands for Time and Relative Dimensions in Space.
The Doctor's faithful machine is not only living, it's also sentient, but thinks on a higher level than its occupants, which means that it can't ever directly talk to the Doctor. The TARDIS is the last of its kind, like the Doctor, and was a museum piece when the Doctor stole it from his people, so it sometimes seems unable to get the Doctor and his companions to where they wanted to go. Speaking of companions,
the Doctor regularly travels with a companion, usually a pretty lady. The first series of 11th Doctor adventures saw our hero meet Amelia Pond as a child, then reappear to her years later when she'd grown up and shortened her name to Amy. Amy's a fiery redhead with a job as a kissogram and a crack in her wall that's actually a crack in the fabric of space and time. Oh, the little things.
Amy's boyfriend, then fiancé, then husband is Rory Williams, nurse, former dead guy, and occasional centurion in the Roman army. Rory wasn't originally a companion, but joined Amy after a crazy adventure in which the Doctor destroyed the universe, restarted it with a second Big Bang, and ceased to exist right before Amy remembered him in time for her and Rory's wedding. He's been a member of the TARDIS team ever since.
River Song's not exactly a companion. She's more of a fellow time traveler. She occasionally joins the TARDIS team as an escaped convict from the 52nd century and has a mysterious past with the Doctor. Perhaps they were lovers.
She and the Doctor are living their lives in opposite directions, so the last time she meets him is the first time he meets her. And in the recent mid-season finale, we find out who she is.
Don't worry, we're not going to ruin the
spoilers
for you just yet, but we will talk about them later in the show. Matt Smith, who plays the Doctor, and Arthur Darvill, who plays Rory, were flatmates and worked together previously in a stage adaptation of Swimming with Sharks. This is funny if you've seen the episode A Christmas Carol. Here's what you absolutely need to know before watching the upcoming premiere of Doctor Who. First of all, silence will fall. This is a phrase repeated over and over again ever since Matt Smith's very first episode a season ago. It refers to an alien race called the Silence, who can delete themselves from your memory when you're not looking at them.
What?
They can delete themselves from your memory when you're not looking at them.
What?
Anyway, the Silence are a part of a season-long arc that began with the opening 2-parter and introduced us to a little girl who could regenerate, which is strange because there are no other Time Lords than the Doctor, and only he can regenerate.
The Doctor dies. Amy, Rory, and River see the Doctor die. It's a future version of the Doctor about 200 years older, but they know when and where it's going to happen, and they can't do anything about it.
People are afraid of the Doctor. Now here's the thing about the Doctor. He's a really nice guy, he's kind of the hero of the show, but he does going around messing up civilizations when they don't really agree with him. As such, a couple of bad guys, namely Madame Kovarian and her Anglican Marines, have teamed up to get the Doctor back. More on that in a little bit.
Amy wasn't Amy for a while. At the beginning of the season, Amy was pregnant. Except that she wasn't. But she totally was. But she wasn't. But she was. You see, Amy was replaced with a ganger, a kind of fleshy construct that projected Amy's consciousness and mind into this fake body. The Doctor discovered this, melted the ganger with his sonic screwdriver, and went off to save Amy and her future baby.
River is kind of a big deal. Now, River Song is a mysterious time traveler from the future. Or is she? She's an archaeologist, but she kills people. Basically, she's got a lot of secrets, and we don't really know what her deal is. Except now we kind of know exactly what her deal is. So for all the fans out there who don't want to know just yet, we're going to let you mute the show, and when we're back, we'll give you a nice unmute to know to come back. So here we go. Here's your chance. We're going to ruin it. River is Rory and Amy's daughter, Melody Pond. Changes to River Song. I know, right? Crazy. River is not only their daughter, but because she was conceived on the TARDIS, she is also human plus. Basically, a little embryonic Time Lord. What this means is that River is possibly the girl from the opening two-parter who regenerates in the alleyway.
Exterminate! Exterminate!
Doctor Who head writer Stephen Moffat said he wanted an older actor to play the Doctor. He then cast Matt Smith, who's the youngest actor yet to play the role.
If you don't have time to catch up with everything that's come before, here are the 5 stories you need to watch before the second half of Series 6. The 11th Hour. The premiere of Series 5, Smith's first season, sees a newly regenerated Doctor crashing to Earth and establishing himself.
The Pandorica opens and The Big Bang. You'll have missed a lot of the drama of the season by skipping to the end, but this story wraps up Series 5 and simultaneously brings in a number of plot threads that become important in Series 6.
The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. The 2-part Series 6 premiere involves River Song, The Silence, and the beginning of this season's story arc.
The Rebel Flesh and The Almost People. This 2-part story introduces the gangers and the technology that created them called the Flesh. It's an important piece of the story with a last-minute cliffhanger that was a surprise to new watchers and longtime fans alike.
A Good Man Goes to War. The mid-series finale of Series 6 and the first part of a 2-part story sees the Doctor and Rory racing to save Amy and her baby and reveals River Song's big secret.
While we think all of the episodes are great, the weakest link is probably The Curse of the Black Spot.
It's an okay story. It's got good actors. It's just too much of a step back after the amazing Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon 2-parter. Matt Smith actually chose his own wardrobe after being presented with something that was a little too piratey in his own words. The jacket comes from Indiana Jones's Professor outfit, and the idea for the bow tie is from Patrick Troughton's second Doctor. Each week on Geek Crash Course, we ask an extra credit question. If you answer correctly on Twitter or at our website, you'll be our Geek of the Week. This week's Geek of the Week is Nicola, who correctly identified Beta Ray Bill, Thunderstrike, Captain America, Superman, and Frog Thor as alternate wielders of Mjolnir. She's also the source of our first Geek Crash correction, and that Jane Foster is a nurse, not a medical student. This week's extra credit question is, can you name 4 Doctor Who spin-offs?
That's it for this week's Geek Crash Course. You can follow us on Twitter at Geek Crash Course or contact us through our website at geekcrashcourse.com.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Geek Crash Course.